Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is, so check your clocks. It is time for art, and I'm your host. I'm Hershey Petty. Time for Art is an easy to follow, fun, and engaging art lesson that is taught twice a week right here on our Facebook live stream. And if you don't have time for art, you can always check out all of our videos, including this one, on our YouTube and our Facebook channels. Just look for Time for Art subscriptions. So twice a week, we meet right here, and our resident artist extraordinaire, Allison Crary, shows us her painting techniques and her favorite tips and tricks while we learn how to draw and paint 3 different paintings a month. And you're welcome to draw along with her. Fair warning, she's fast, but you're welcome to try to keep up with her through all of our classes, or you can sit back, relax, and just watch as Allison shows us how to easily approach any painting. And she makes it look easy, and she shows us how to do the same. So the only rule here is to, or there's 2 rules, I guess. Have fun, and make sure you say hello to us in the comment section on our Facebook channel right there that you see while you're watching, so that we know that you're here. Other than that, just have a good time. So let's say hello to our resident artist, Allison Crary. Hello, Allison.
Hershey Petty, how are you?
I am great. And yourself?
So happy. It's a happy day. Look at how happy these dolphins are. We decided it was a daddy dolphin. It was a non-deadbeat dad and a baby. And if we're wrong, we're not interested in hearing that.
Right. No, I think actually it's a really lovely story. I think that the mom might have been trapped in a net somewhere, and the dad's on his own, so he's showing the baby how to jump and do all the things.
I don't know how great it is, but it's all that's true. And then I just want to, if you weren't here Monday, we drew the dolphins. I got that right here, and we just do this for drawing practice, so you learn. And then if you ever want to just draw right on your canvas, you always can, but we provide outlines, so you don't have to. And so let's get started. Hershey, did you tell them what colors we're using? We're using phthalo blue.
I did not. Yeah, we're going to use our phthalo blue.
And we're using white. And we've got our palettes out. And I've got our hinging labels. And the way we do that, if it's your first time joining us, is we take out our labels and we kind of hook them. Hinge, if you will.
Yeah.
To the top of your paper, just like that. Fold it over. And we're going to keep this right here in case you ever need your drawing back again. It's right there. And then freely paint.
Yep.
We're gonna take
you will too, right? You will, because you might paint over a line that you want to see later, so you have that to just flip right back over.
Right there. And we're gonna do a little bit of that today. So we're gonna take this. This is your graphite paper, sticky, waxy, shiny side down. And we're gonna tuck this right between your outline and your canvas panel. And that's pencil enemies. And we're just gonna go ahead, and I always make it very clear that we do, this is a rough line. I don't take a whole lot of time to very precisely transfer with pressure your lines to your canvas panel. Just like this. Get this one. Come around this way.
I went ahead and traced mine ahead of time.
Oh,
here's mine. My
hand. I love
it. There it is. Oh.
And if you haven't already, say hi.
Yeah, say hello. We got Julie Crary just said hello from Crown Point, and we got Ruth watching.
And would you join me in wishing Julie Crary a very, very happy birthday?
Yes, happy birthday, Julie. I texted her already this morning.
Yes, I got to see her this morning.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I made it to Crown Point before my meetings today.
We got Lori. She's saying hello from Minneapolis.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Julie's she's a Cancer just like me. And I think that's why we're such kindred souls, she and I.
I want to do a horoscope box. I think that'd be really fun.
That would be really fun in the fall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got suggestions, or we asked for suggestions last time, and I've already put some of them into motion.
Ooh, how exciting.
So thank you for that, directly from our suggestions. So that's really great.
The monster one was so fun.
And that's one of them. We're going to do monsters. I'm really excited about them. And your kits are going to look, I'm not going to say a whole lot different, but we just, since we're on sort of our second wave,
Mm-hmm.
I think we've made some really good adjustments. And I'm really excited to see how everybody likes them.
It's like just like our artists, including myself, are getting better and better and better at art. We're getting better and better and better at the kits and at all that stuff. So that's fun.
Exactly, right? So let's see what I've got here. What I'm looking for is what I might have missed. And it looks like I've got pretty much everything in. So here is our outline. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix up these tones for our background, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are the two colors we're using. And if you look, it is this kind of ombre where it goes from blue to kind of blue-green. So I'm actually going to start with our blue-green. So let's start with some green. Put in a smidge of blue. Let's see how this starts looking. I think I like that. And there's going to be some white in both of these if you look, because there's a—
So it was mostly green, just a little, you said a smidge of the
speck of blue. Yes. And then I'm going to take the same green and add some more, like a speck of blue. Just like that.
Oh, these are pretty.
And if you
colors.
look, these are definitely not the right colors yet. So they each need kind of a dollop of white into both of them. So we're getting pretty close there.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna wash this because we're getting kind of precise with our colors. I'm gonna take some of this and add even more blue. Some white. And those are going to be our three kind of ombre colors, right?
Yes.
And I want these to be really watery because we definitely want to be able to see our lines through these. So I'm adding a significant amount of water to each well. And then I'm going to ask everybody to pay attention to where these colors kind of hit. Not to me. So we have some blue up here. We're kind of in transition right here. And the green kind of happens sort of right before this line with, right? So I'm going to start with this blue that we mixed. And I'm just going to kind of scrub this in. We want to see our lines through it. Just like that.
For Lori out there, she asked a question. We're looking at we're using the phthalo blue.
Yes, this one right here. All right, so I'm going to get that in there. And first, I just wanted to cover all of the holes of the porous canvas panel. And now I'm going to kind of go back in, get a little bit more on there. Sure to get underneath our dolphin. Go straight across. There we have it. Next, it's going to be this sort of transition color. And when I do ombre, I kind of go to where it needs to be and then I work my way back. So I need all of this to be this color. And then I'm going to kind of work my way back up in there. And I'm not, because I kept this really kind of watery because I want to be able to see my lines through it. And this is water, so I'm actually going to leave it. Sometimes we work really hard to kind of cover a sort of watery layer. I don't want to do that this time. For painting water, it's okay that a little bit of our water shows.
I like that.
So I'm going to kind of get this going all the way through here. And I'm just going to run a brush all the way through to keep it even.
And you're like kind of just haphazardly staying away from the,
Kind of. I mean, I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah.
We can see through it. And then into our green. That comes in down here. We've got a really good foundation. For our colors. And then I'd say at this point, last but certainly not least, it gets kind of right at the edge here, a little bit just more like kind of the pure permanent green light. So I've got a little bit of that. Make sure I'm staying on camera here. Plus my white. I'm going to take a little of this and add it in there of what I had left over. And I'm just going to kind of work some of that right into the base here. So we want this to feel different, like it's the foreground. Maybe it's a little more shallow here.
Oh, Melissa's on as well. Hello, hello, Melissa.
All right, so here we are. We're gonna kind of let that dry for a moment. And we're gonna mix up.
Color mixing.
I'm just gonna kind of actually just run my brush through it one more time just to keep it even. Just my brush and a little bit of water. And there we have it. That's our transition.
There it is.
All right, now we're gonna take kind of our straight up phthalo blue. And I've got kind of 1 frozen pea and a half's worth. That's our unit of measure here at Time for Art, frozen peas.
Very technical.
Very technical. Could you argue that not all frozen peas are the same size? Don't know. And we're gonna take a little bit of white. I'm actually gonna add a little more white.
How many frozen peas did you say?
Like 1 1/2, and I've got about, I don't know, maybe a half pea of white.
Okay.
And we get this color right here. And this is going to be our base for our dolphins.
Okay.
I'm just going to kind of paint this in here. As you can see, it's not dark enough yet. That's by design. And I'm looking at kind of where the blue areas begin and end, and I'm being mindful of that. So into and around this way. Around here. I say this every week, but I'm going to say it again. It's always easier to pull a line when you paint than push a line. So keep that in mind. I'm using my medium-sized brush. I'm just gonna kind of come around this way and pull this line. You can use a smaller brush. I'm using this one just because I've got it out. So there's the baby.
Alrighty.
The daddy, we have, I come around this way. Get this in just like this. This comes in just like this. I think we're just setting up our painting, getting things going. I think dolphins are joy.
Same.
They're just so wonderful.
I had a friend that when I was living in Las Vegas years ago, I had a friend who it was her first time ever in California. And when we got, she'd never seen the Pacific Ocean. And we got there, where to you, these two dolphins jumped right for her.
Oh, wow.
It's like, man, what a welcome.
What a welcome is right. So I'm going up in here, painting. It is very cool when you can see dolphins in the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've ever seen them in the Pacific. I've seen them twice in the Atlantic in Florida.
Okay.
Once for my 30th birthday.
Ooh, what a birthday gift.
Cool. They were far away, but undeniably dolphins. And then this last time I was in Tampa for a wedding this year in March. And we were driving along the coast and we saw some dolphins. And I mean, it's too cool.
That is too cool. I believe a lot of the dolphins that we see in California are porpoises.
All right, and you're gonna have to explain to me the difference.
I don't even know the difference. I just know that I've been collected before on the beach.
Does one of our artists know the difference between a dolphin and a porpoise?
I'm sure. We've got such a smart crew.
Because we're very interested in knowing. Very, very interested in knowing the difference between a dolphin and a porpoise. All right, so I'm just kind of following along this line. This kind of comes right along here, and I'm going to kind of leave that alone. I'm going to kind of get in this edge. Along here. Just like that. Your paint always shrinks up a little bit when it dries. So I'm just looking for that. And I'm adding a little bit more where I need it. Along here. Around here. Just like this.
Michelle just joined us. Hello, Michelle.
Fantastic. Welcome. Here. All right. And we're going to kind of let that dry for a minute. With the same kind of blue-green color. So if we want to add, if you have some left over, you want to remix it, I'm just going to add some green to this. Get it going. I'm going to add a lot of white to that, actually, because we want this kind of pastel blue-green color.
I knew Julie was on this. I knew it. She wrote, dolphins have longer snouts, bigger mouths, and more curved dorsal fins, and longer, leaner bodies than porpoises.
So I feel like this is a porpoise, not a dolphin.
Okay.
But it's not a very long snout.
Oh, Yeah, it's not a very long snout. On Monday when we were drawing
Mhm.
this, I have to say, mine had a pretty long snout. I had to go back and
You
correct
went,
it.
you went, or were you interested? I'm adding a little more green to this. Or
Or
were
maybe
you
I'm thinking a dolphin.
interested in making a dolphin, not a porpoise? That's the question.
Mhm.
All right, that's the color I want right there. Probably got too much of it, but big deal. All right. And I'm just gonna put in my greens. So my green is going in underneath here. I think this looks like a tricky painting. It's really not.
It's fun.
Kind of plug and play.
Yeah. Well, you describe that too. You say, that you just gotta mix the colors and put them where they go and easy breezy.
Well, and I think that's one of the takeaways I really want everyone to kind of feel is that if you figure out how to mix the right colors and you can see how the colors come together, there's nothing you can't paint. And then you
Right.
just keep going. Keep challenging yourself.
Yeah, that's why I really love those exercises we do with just tone with pencils where because it helps you to spot parts of the differences in the painting so that you can
Yeah.
right, moving to paint is not it's probably easier.
Right. So you figure out all your values first, and that's why we do it in that order.
Mhm.
And we used to try and do 2 drawings in one night, got away from that, no need. And then the reason we provide you with templates is just so that you have like something to start painting with.
Yeah,
On theme.
obviously.
And it's just fun. Just have a good time.
Painting is a lot of fun. I was talking with a friend about instead of picking up my phone, I'll pick up my art journal, or stuff like that. Like painting is just it's relaxing. It's so many things.
Nothing warms my heart more, Hershey. That. So I'm just kind of taking my time and like putting in my green where it goes. Just like this. Down here. There's it's definitely the color I want down here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and like stick a little bit more of it down here for a little bit of opacity.
And the template challenge this month is going to be really fun too. It's going to really kind of
Oh yeah, remind everybody, Hershey, of the template.
so you can take the templates and we'd like you to do them in is it 2 different styles? The same template, 2
Yeah.
different styles, right?
Just
Yeah.
take advantage of the duplicity.
Yep, in pairs. So your template challenge, you'll be kind of submitting 2 paintings. One will be a template painting in one style, and the other one will be in a different style of your choosing.
Yeah, it could be on the same page, it can be in different pages, however you want to do it. Kind of. As I see this dry, I make a few adjustments. And the first adjustment I'm going to make is this line should be a little bit lower. So I'm going to remix it with just phthalo blue and some white.
Which line there are you talking about?
Well, the way I have my dolphin drawn,
Mm-hmm.
I need to bring down this line because this line goes all the way across and I have it coming up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I am, and sometimes you get this far in the drawing when you got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to switch to my smaller brush, but you're always going to want to check your drawing mistakes first. And so I don't know if it's a transfer mistake or what. Doesn't really matter. But I'm going to mix this color again, which is just phthalo blue and white. And that's the thing with acrylic paint. What makes it really forgiving is just kind of let it dry and go back in there.
Yeah.
More yet. That's what we're doing. That's close enough. So this should be a little bit more like this. Thin happens kind of over here like this. Because it's a little bit more opaque, I'm just going to kind of second coat.
Beautiful.
Get that going. And kind of let it dry. All right, that's looking the way I want it. Now, super simple. Gonna add some white to a well. When I put white in a well, it usually means I don't want to just dip into it. I kind of want to use it on its own. So I'm gonna wash my white out or my brush out really well. Go into my white. And I'm just gonna paint in these kind of splash areas.
Those splash areas were a little bit difficult for me in the drawing phase of
Yeah.
this.
And so right now, Hershey, only thing you got to do is paint them in.
Yep.
Whole thing becomes white. Just like that. Over here. And I feel like in the reference, there's some little bubbles that didn't necessarily make the literal splash areas. And so I'm just going to kind of add them in.
They didn't make the cut.
Well, just they didn't like, you don't want to be too precise sometimes in these
Yeah.
outlines because I want people, we're here to paint, right? We're not to
Right.
annotate what was. So as I paint these areas in, just kind of taking my time. So we're just going to leave this white, kind of let it dry.
When you're painting, do you find yourself turning your canvas a lot and like to get the right side? Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes depends on what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Just like this. All right. And also while I've got the white out, I'm actually going to go for the white areas in the water.
And you're just using straight white, right?
Straight white. Sure am.
Righty.
And so there's certainly this area down here that's white. And again, we're painting water. Don't be too precise with this. It's around this way.
Oh, what was the name of that artist that we're going to talk about later on this month?
Robert Bateman.
Yeah, you're saying like don't be too precise or whatnot. It's like I was thinking about him as soon as you said that. Like that guy is precise.
He is a technician.
Wait till you guys see his photos. They look like photos. They literally do.
Photos.
Yeah.
And he's an acrylic artist.
Mhm.
And just a lot of essence. And I think we can even make a Hopper comparison because it's kind of genre art. It's just of wildlife. And there's as much attention paid to the kind of forestry and background. I almost want to call it background because it's the foreground. It's like to the
It's everything.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's everything. Yeah. So I'm just putting in my whites right now. Kind of coming around here. Around here. Some white up in here. Over here. Over here. This area gets some white. Here. So I think this is just a really sort of playful two-color painting.
It really is.
Plus white. Around here.
It's a lot of fun.
Right? There's a little bit of white back in here. And in the end, we'll do some more splashes and bubbles and things like that.
Okay.
A little bit of white in here. And then I'm going to look just at my splashes here. And again, as things dry, you get a better idea of what they're going to be. I'm just going to kind of even out some of these strokes. Not because it's not cool to have some texture, especially in a splash, and you might want to leave it. I just kind of want this to dry consistently for demonstration's sake. So that's why I'm going in and evening some of this out. Let's see this. All right. We're gonna leave that alone for a minute. Next thing we're gonna do is, if you look, the sort of wave areas, the darker wave areas, they transition and they get, again, they're kind of duller in the background and they get darker and more intense.
Yeah.
And that is just phthalo blue with like a speck of white. And then we're going to take this and add even more blue to it, or add even more white to it, but no green. And those are going to be our two colors. So these strokes in the background, again, good practice pulling a line, because they don't have to be perfect, but
Yeah. You just kind of want to cover up those graphite marks. Yeah.
yeah, that's what they're there for. And it's going to be the softer tone in the back. Just like that. And just gently Drag your brush. I'm right-handed. Left-handed, you might want to go in a different direction. I don't know. But it feels right to me to go left to right.
As you pull the line.
Did you pull the line? You can add a few more. I'm looking forward to painting our ponies
I am too.
because, and I'm going to go ahead and they get kind of dark in here, but I'm going to go ahead and not worry too much about that and go in with our lighter tone because I'll just overlap it with our darker tone because they kind of overlap in here. So if I have to paint over some of these, it's not the end of the world. And we always try and work the whole painting at once. Which is why we haven't finished our dolphins yet, per se.
Right.
Kind of bring everything to the same level at the same time, or at least we try.
Is that a technique?
Well, it's so that you're kind of looking at the whole thing at once so that, for example, you could work really hard on something and realize it's too dark or too light. And so as long as we're making comparisons and looking at each other, like everything in reference to each other, we should be in good shape. All right. So I'm going to go in here with my darker tone now that I have mixed. Do some of the same. I'm kind of overlapping some of these that were sort of in transition. How's yours looking, Hershey?
You know, you just brought up something that I'm actually experiencing right now. After painting in my dolphin, I realized that I made the foreground of the ocean too dark.
And that's okay.
And, yeah, so I'm lightening up my foreground or my background. Sorry, my background. Of the ocean
And
too
is it
dark.
dry enough to do that? Can you
Yeah,
just go in?
perfect. Yeah.
That's what you do. Just wait, and then you go, okay, that's not quite right.
Yep.
What's the adjustment? You know.
Exactly.
Just always have to have a little bit of patience with yourself. And this is when I talk to people and they'll say things like, what if you do it wrong? Or what if you, and I really want to get away from that because there is correct value and there is correct color. And if you're learning, I don't want to say there are, you know, that you aren't trying to be mindful of those adjustments, but the way that we put paintings together, it's designed to sort of catch your mistakes and to keep evaluating what is right, what is, and then it's nothing's too precious to take out if you catch it along the way.
Yeah, it's like now I'm like, well, what do you mean you made a mistake? Like,
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, and I think there's also kind of this mentality that like if you like it but it's wrong, you don't want to take it out. And it's like, well, if you're always checking as you go and you're never really finished until you're done, then you can always take something out.
Yeah.
So that should be white. I'm going to leave that to be white. We're coming through here. And that's kind of the point. We're just
having fun,
figuring it out.
I think that's what makes us artists.
Yeah. And then sometimes you're gonna be like, you know what, that's not right. And I'm gonna leave it. That's not what I was going for. That's not.
But it looks
really
great.
What I had in mind, and I like it, and I'm not gonna change it. Or it's too disruptive to change it.
Oh, yours is looking fantastic.
Hershey, thank you. Just putting in kind of my waves here. So we're at the 7:40 mark. I'm not sure we're gonna go into the next hour, but sometimes on paint days we do.
Mhm.
Or always understand if you have to hop off. Just kind of give ourselves permission. I'm grateful this isn't one of the hairdryer ones. My hairdryer died this morning. I had to know what hair go, like, don't care.
But it just doesn't turn on anymore.
I think it's like somehow stuck between like reset and test. And it was a good hairdryer. It will be missed. Or like I'm gonna let it rest and see what happened, but
Uh,
there's this way of it. All right, so we've got everything in here. I'm liking how that's looking. I'm gonna take my darks in the front and just go in with some straight up phthalo blue and just kind of emphasize them again. So I want to really hit the value on these. Just like this.
Man, does this paint shrink when it dries?
Just does. And I bet it definitely does in Arizona.
Yeah, yeah, right.
If you want to watch paint shrink, look at
Yeah.
the other one. Watch paint dry. You know how we're printing t-shirts?
Yep.
Watch paint shrink. Around down here. I'm hitting this down here. All right. I've reiterated all the strokes I want to do that with. Next thing we're gonna do, it shows up as really gray on here, but it's really just blue and white. And so kind of the spray, this other value that's in there, we're gonna mix that.
Yeah, in the splash.
Yeah, and that's just phthalo blue and white.
Okay.
But kind of low contrast actually. I think it's just a printing thing. It's always interesting how these things print. We've been silent on the comments because everybody's working.
Yeah, I keep checking and they're like me, they're like focused on, the different values of the blue and the green, it's
So this is the blue I'm gonna use. And we're just gonna kind of work this in.
very light blue.
To sort of be our other kind of color here. And then we're gonna go over all this again with white to kind of hit the sort of splash quality. Just kind of anywhere you see the darker tone. That's where we're going in with that. There's just a little bit of it in here.
The underside of the dolphin being green is so neat. I think that's
Isn't
such
that cool?
yeah. I think when I first saw the reference image, I didn't realize it was green. Now that I look at it, I can see the green. Of course, now that I'm
Yeah.
painting, I can, but I didn't at first see that.
Well, and that's part of learning how to paint is like what you think you see isn't always what you do see.
Yeah.
And that's kind of part of the sorcery of it, so to speak. You're like, that actually is green. Isn't that cool? And we're gonna let that dry. All right, so let's just take a look at our painting for a moment.
Okay.
Anywhere you want to touch it up, go ahead and do so, right? Because we're kind of at that phase. So I want to make sure that this darker value goes all the way to the bottom of the splash. So I'm gonna do that.
Say that one more time. What are you doing there?
I took this darker value all the way to the bottom of this kind of spray area.
Okay, because you had some like
Kind of hovering to, it was kind of
color
doing the halo where it wasn't close enough really to this edge.
yeah.
And I'm gonna fix that at this point. Next thing I'm gonna do is in here, I want to clean up some of these greens. I still have some of that green mixed. So I'm gonna kind of clean up some, I want this to be a cleaner line on my painting. Got to look at your own and figure out what you want. So I'm gonna clean up some of these greens. Just like this. This is one of the reasons we like to do these live.
Because then you can see how you clean up stuff and like the
Yeah, there's no like it's too perfect.
yeah.
This area I wanted to make white. Put that in.
It's
Like
so
1, 2,
it's like
3,
on those cooking
so
shows.
perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. It's like on those cooking shows where they take it, they put something, they're making it, and then they all of a sudden they pull it out of the oven and it's done. You're like, I feel like I missed a couple steps.
Yeah, and you know, that's just not. We thought we wanted to do that at first, and it's not.
Live is best.
Live is just. I enjoy painting live. And then people can ask questions and we can demonstrate it. And then you can always watch it after if you didn't catch us live. So this is how we like to do it. It's not going to be everyone's way. It's how we like to paint. So
It's cool too to see everybody is doing the exact same painting, because when you see all the finished products and you can see how people have done the same thing with the same instruction differently, it kind of reminds you that this is art and it's
the whole reason we make art
Yep.
is so that your stroke looks different than my stroke. And it's also all about like how much, take whatever you want from this, right? We're going to show you how to do this. And if you really want to get into, and we certainly encourage you to, exactly how this is done to learn from it, do so. If you are called to change it or, do something else, please always do. It's what it's about.
And then post it to the group.
Yeah, we want to see it. All right, so that's looking good. I've got my foreground in. What else do I want to change? Do I want to change anything just yet? I don't think so. All right. with my smallest brush and with straight up phthalo blue. And these guys should be mostly dry. That's why we did them first.
Yep.
We're gonna paint in the darks of our dolphin.
Okay.
All right. So on the baby, and this is gonna feel a lot like drawing. We're gonna go in up in here, around here, down here, over here. Just getting a little more water in my brush. I need it.
Linda just joined us a little late. She says everything's looking great.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Melinda.
So we're just going in with our phthalo blue and hitting all of our dark areas. Just like that. All right, same thing over here. I'm gonna definitely, this fin right here gets kind of dark. Pulling a line.
Pulling a line.
Along that edge. Always good practice. Right, like that. If you want some of this detail back in your drawing, it'd be a good thing to just fold it right over and rehinge it if you want to.
Yep.
I'm just gonna kind of keep painting. I painted the original. Know how this goes. But if you want your drawing back or your outline back, it's a really good way to go.
When you were in art school in college, did you guys do this kind of stuff where you painted other people's paintings, like famous paintings, and tried to recreate them?
No, but if you go to museums, they do it all the time. I kind of wish we had. When I took private art lessons, I did some of this.
Okay.
There's just good ones to learn from.
Yeah.
And in our case,
way to check your work.
Exactly. And in our case, we like to use different colors every time. We like to play with theme. We like to, we like to explore all the things that make art art. And so that's one of the reasons we change up the colors and change up the ideas and talk about things. Come into the dorsal fin right here. Just like that.
Ruth says that the daddy porpoise reminds her of Flipper.
I love it.
Those shows were so funny. The dolphin would be like, ee! And the kid would be like, what? There's someone stuck on a boat? So you're like,
and then Flipper would be like, yes, that's exactly what I meant.
That's exactly right. Thank you for listening.
You wouldn't believe it. Sometimes people don't get me.
Yeah.
My brother's dog, Frida, though, actually kind of talks to you. It's really.
Oh, really? I love
Frida.
dogs.
Yeah. Frida was like trying to get Sean's attention, and Sean like starts like throwing the ball and he starts doing some other stuff.
Yeah.
And she ended up bringing him her water bowl. I you idiot.
That's hilarious.
I'm obviously thirsty. I'm just blurring this edge with a little bit of water, this dark area up here.
She talks with her friend. She's like, yeah, he does not listen.
He does not listen.
Yeah.
She's like, Flipper had a great, like, great communication.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're thirsty. And she's like, finally.
Yeah. She's like, you've been drinking water.
Yeah. See, your bowl is plenty full. Underside right here. And this is just straight up phthalo blue. All right. I'm going to put in this face. And if you want to retransfer this, you can. I'm not going to.
The dolphin face.
Dolphin face. And we're just going to take our time and figure it out. And anything we don't like, we'll let dry and paint over. But first thing I'm going to do is this kind of fold.
At the nose.
Yeah, that happens kind of like right here.
Or at the rostrum, I'm sorry.
Is that what it is? See, you know all the words.
Mhm.
So we're gonna get that in. Then we're gonna do this kind of other fold. It comes around like that. And then there's kind of this fold underneath it that kind of comes around and down like that. This fold has kind of a reinforcing fold, if you will. It sits kind of above it right here. And there's a little bit of shaping with the dark. We'll also hit the highlighting here, but that kind of comes around this way, down this way, this way. Gonna kind of reinforce this area like that. If we take this fold, we go up a little higher with it. The eye, it's about right here. Just like that. And so now that I've got some of that in, I'm just going to kind of check my work a little bit. This comes around here, over here, over like this and back around. I'm gonna make sure that's in. I'm kind of blur that edge with some water. This I want to be more congruous, more together. This way. I'm going to reinforce this line a little bit more underneath here. And then something here, like that. Just a little bit of shaping here. And then I'm also going to kind of look for, and it's more this background tone that I still have some mix, and this is just the phthalo blue plus white. But some of this, I'm going to add a little more phthalo blue to it, is in here as well. We get a little bit of blue right here.
Yeah, I see that.
Like that. In here. Over here. A little bit of that kind of right here. We'll hit it with a little bit more white in a little bit. Over here, the blowhole on the baby is kind of in some of these lighter blue tones. Right here. Here. There's some highlight on this fin right here. I'm gonna put that in with the blue first. Probably hit it with some white in a little bit. We're right at the 8 o'clock mark. If anyone needs to leave us, we'll miss you, but we understand. There is some highlight from the sun up above, along the fin right here, along this edge right here. Just like that. And then, kind of last but not least, I'm going to take some straight up white. I'm going to start with the splash and just kind of work this in. And we're going for kind of round, kind of circular.
You're just gonna do little dots, or you're gonna actually move the brush around?
I'm moving the brush around. I'm kind of, spirals might be the wrong word, but it's kind of that shape to my brush.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of the final, it's kind of more illustrative. I kind of feel like I'm drawing. But it's that kind of final layer of, this is the one we're keeping, kind of.
Yeah.
Built it up to this point. This is
This is it.
last layer of frosting with the white. Coming around here. Here. Just like this. There's a few little bubbles popping up around here. And then just where do I want a little bit of highlight? I want to hit this kind of eye a little smaller. This stroke right here. This stroke right here. Around the
so great.
hole right here. Highlights are precious. So you don't want to overdo it. Along here. Along here. Dorsal fin right here. And I think I'm there. Maybe a little bit of highlighting.
You are, for sure.
Hershey, walk away. It's that time.
Yep, it's that time. You could put your name on that one.
All right, let's sign this guy. As always, we would love to see your creations on the group. And a very happy birthday to Julie Crary.
Yeah, as promised, I'll show you guys where I'm at. I had to try to start fresh a little bit to lighten some stuff up, but I'm really excited where it's going. So
let it dry.
Yep, and happy birthday,
Back
Julie.
in there. All right, so you've had a great start going, Hershey. Hershey has like a job too while he paints. None of us do. So keep that in mind. And we will see you next Monday for our pony drawing.
Yes, how exciting.
All right.
All right, bye everybody. Bye, Allison.
Take care. Bye, guys.